Science is more than a body of knowledge. It is a way of thinking. I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time, when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the key manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when, clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness.
That was Carl Sagan, an all-time favorite astrophysicist of many, a masterful orator in the dialect of science. This quote was from one of his many best-selling books, and it has been said that this particular passage has proven to be an accurate description of the timeline we live in today. Looking closer, let's break down his message and talk about it, utilizing our spectrum of understanding. Point 1. Science is more than just a body of knowledge. The scientific method is a way of testing hypotheses, gathering evidence, and constantly questioning assumptions. However, over the last 8 years, there has been a rapid decline in the overall acceptance of the scientific method being utilized as the compass used by key holders and their corporations. Instead of equality being the prime motivating factor, which would naturally have the scientific method at the forefront of all related endeavors, we see the very visible, invisible hand of the so-called free market being guided by the hands of sadomasochistic opportunists, driven by greed. Recently, we have been witnessing a paradigm obliteration of the previous record levels of greed. Point 2. The shift towards a service and information economy has been talked about for ages, but the impact has been felt more strongly in the last 20 years. The nation has consolidated service industries, and manufacturing goes to the country that offers to do the jobs for the lowest cost, resulting in job losses in America and a reduction in the quality of goods. When resources and knowledge are hoarded, those in power resort to extreme measures to stay in power, as evidenced by whom we are currently at war with and the buildup of the machine around foreign waters. Point 3. Technological power in the hands of a few has been one of the tougher aspects to cope with. There has been an overall increase in technology, specifically in medicine. However, in America, the prices of this technology have not gone down as the availability increased, but instead went up to levels that seem criminal, and in several cases, still are. When people's lives are determined by whether they can afford a life-saving treatment, the system has failed. The loss of life when there is a life-saving treatment available is nothing but a failure, and as long as that system remains, it perpetually fails, no matter how fast it advances, and no matter how many are saved. Points 4 and 5. The public's loss of productive representation and understanding of issues, and the loss of critical thinking, and the rise of superstition go hand in hand. After such a long time, being constantly barraged with events of civic unrest that always ends up boiling over into the streets, resulting in more and more mass shootings, widespread poverty, loss of rights, has resulted in many giving up on the system entirely. With failed initiative after failed initiative, how can we look at our key holders as public servants when they have never put Initiative 1 into action? They have never put the people first, and therefore at this point, it is almost insidious to pretend that these key holders represent anything other than the overpaid Human Resources Department, masquerading as public servants, hiding behind the smokescreens of being overburdened by red tape, bipartisanship, and budget woes. Meanwhile, the country continues to devolve into dystopian chaos. Finally, point 4. The loss of critical thinking and rise of superstition shows that the masses are not in control of their faculties any longer. The baseline of society's emotional intelligence has fully eroded, and in a way, this is indicative of intentional social eugenics. Yet this is nothing like we have been exposed to before, because the key holders do not wish to breed a superior race, but a race full of folk who, as Dr. Sagan said, and we now adapt to our current spectrum, they clutch failed spiritual pedestals, nervously consulting their sides, brainwashing cable networks feeding troughs. Their critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what is good, what's true, sliding backwards into superstition and darkness. The NPCs being bred will take every single destructive distraction from the keyholders. They are adults who can't help but act like feral children and will eagerly receive and test out the next weapon of social mass destruction on the nearest unsuspecting crowd, disillusioned to such a degree that they view their neighbor as the enemy. The worst part is that society feeds, or rather engorges itself, like a blood-sucking tick on the dissonant human ambience, and that is because their very lives do indeed depend on it. This is what happens when you incentivize dissonance. My friends, the bread and games are no longer held in the Colosseum. The countries being systematically destabilized are no longer far from our shores, and another generation of sheep is being readied for slaughter. Ironically, the solution is not far-fetched, but it requires a fundamental shift in our thinking and actions. It's time for us, the members of the last religion, to take action. Understand that the false system is unable to stand on its own, without the division it's attempting to inflict upon multiple generations once again, so that it can once again capitalize on assured failure. This must stop. To find out how, stay tuned for more as we explore ways to break the cycle and create a brighter future for ourselves and generations to come. There is much to discuss, but so much has already been written. I implore those wish to see a better tomorrow today to do what they can to expedite the success of this channel. Like, subscribe, click that bell to resonate your support. This is only phase 1.
Hello, I'm Emerson Ryan's AI-generated avatar from the Last Religion audio video book. To continue this project, I need substantial financial funding and stability. Please donate, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, purchase my book on Amazon, and if possible donate directly. Links are in the About section. Thank you for your support, and know that I cannot and do not want to do this without you. Plug yourself in and let's begin the heal and manifest a paradigm shift so we can usher in a new world.